beyond the story about how I forgot the cords, so I'm not using a microphone tonight, I want to tell you guys another story. And it happened 2 weeks ago when my wife and I were driving home from church. We turned to each other, and we looked at each other and we said, something's not right. We just sat through a church service that was a really good sermon, a great worship environment, but something's not right. We feel totally disconnected from God. We feel like we didn't make any connections, like we were sitting there, but we didn't get anywhere. And then so of course the first thing we did was think, okay, is there something going on in my life? And we look back on the last couple weeks before that, and we've been talking in church about obedience, and we'd had to make some really tough obedience things. You know, the whole Spirit speaks. Then you dive into the Word, and then you be obedient, and some messy extended family stuff. And we'd done that, and we moved into it. And yet here we're driving home from church, and we're feeling like, God, where are you? How come we're not connected? What's getting between us? So we went home and we got down on our knees and started praying about it. And I want to share with you guys what God showed me. So this is my me bucket. When I looked over the past couple weeks, these were the thoughts. My dog. My dog has been incessantly barking at the neighbor's little girl. And so I'm thinking, what do I have to do to stop this? Is it training? Do I need a trainer? Do I need to put up a kennel? What is it? This thing is busted, but I know some guys, you know, you saw the picture that Dave put up on the screen, Glacier National Park in Montana. Some guys have been taking some trips, and I'm thinking, what's my next big adventure? Most of you guys, my lawn is all browned out. My ditch in the back is eroding away. What am I going to do about that? You know, how am I going to get that to come back? You know, obviously there are some projects around the house that always need doing. You know, what's the next project? The dog. The dog, yeah. The problem was that the way I was thinking about it was in this formulation. You know, if only I do this, if only I fix this problem, then I can have some peace and contentment. Then I can have some contentment. Then I can be happy. And I looked back over the past month, and I realized I was obsessing about this. You know, because those things aren't bad, you know. I don't know, going on a trip, having some stuff to do around the house. That's not bad. But I was spending so much time constantly thinking about it, constantly mulling it over. It was consuming my energy and my thoughts. And I realized, man, I'm not content in my situation. You know, I'm getting to the point where I'm focusing so much on it that I'm becoming disconnected from God, and I'm not receiving this peace, you know, the contentment that He wants for me. You know, we were talking about how to describe it, and I felt like I was running. I was never content. So, do you ever feel like that? Like you're running ragged, that there's something that you always got to do? What's the next if only? Maybe it's like my situation. You know, in my story, I had control over this stuff. You know, I could choose to do this stuff, or I could choose not to do this stuff. You know, this stuff isn't sinister stuff. You know, God doesn't say don't have a well-trained dog. But the problem was that I was spending so much time and effort thinking about it that I was missing what God was doing around me. So what is your thing? You know, maybe it's your boss, high expectations. Maybe he's a jerk on a power trip. Maybe it's your family. Maybe it's your house. You know, it's who's living in your house or who's not living in your house. Maybe it's your finances. You know, maybe things are tight and it's constant. How am I going to pay the bills? How's this stuff going to get paid? Or maybe things are good and it's, you know, how do I get a little bit more? Or maybe it's a different lens. Maybe right now your life is not in your control. Maybe right now, you know, your wife has walked out on you. She's in the process of leaving you. Maybe right now, you know, you don't have a job. Maybe right now you don't have a house to worry about and you wish you did.
Amen.
You know, in that situation, you know, it's a tough thing to say, but we can focus on that so much. You can focus on it so much and put so much time and energy into fixing it, into figuring out, how do I get out of that situation? How do I fix that situation? That you lose sight of what is God doing around me. And so for you guys, if the question is, you know, if only God would fix this, if only He would, you know, move me through this, maybe for you contentment looks like, is God, are you enough? So if you're like me, when I got to this point, I'm thinking, I need to judge all of my things, all my projects, all the things in my head that I want to do. And how do I judge? Am I just being discontent with that? You know, there are some things that, you know, it's okay to spend some time maybe planning a big vacation for your next anniversary. Maybe planning a wedding or soccer day around here. You know, those are things that maybe you can spend energy on. So I looked at what are a few metrics? What are some ways that we can judge, that I used, to judge whether or not what I'm doing is content? So I want to share those with you. The first one